Welcome to Inspired Living with Mark and Kim. Every Wednesday, Mark and Kim, along with their special guests, will explore thought-provoking topics and ideas that promote creativity, self-help, healing, happiness, and well-being to inspire you on your spiritual journey. Each week, Mark and Kim will discuss different paths to achieving a more spiritual, balanced, happy, and healthy lifestyle. Topics will elevate consciousness and range from metaphysics to the human and social experience, and all things spiritual. Welcome to an inspired community that offers support, encouragement, and new ways of thinking. Mark and Kim are tested, certified, and professional spiritual mediums, metaphysical teachers, healers, and spiritual advisors with their own individual spiritual practices in Seattle, Washington, and Los Angeles, California. You are the inspired and the inspiration.
Do you have life questions or even spiritual questions you need answered? Do you want to know what your soul has to say? Then today is your day, because on Inspired Living with Mark and Kim, we are dedicating this next hour to psychic guidance and readings and delivering messages from your angels with our special guest, Reverend Shamalah-Allah. But first, I'm Kim Thalkin, founder of Love First, where life transformations happen in Encino, California. If there's anything that I can do to help you live a happier and purposeful life in the way of readings, healings, or hypnotherapy, please find me at lovefirst.info. I am living my life's purpose by doing this work, and I would be honored to work with you. With me today and every Wednesday is my co-host, the lovely Mark Lanehart, the intuitive prospector up in Seattle, Washington. Mark, how you doing today?
Hey, Kim, I'm doing fantastic. Just happy to be on the radio and having a lot of fun. Looking forward to this show with all the questions. We already got some callers calling in, so I'm going to try to do my best to manage everything. But just wanted to say hello to all the inspired listeners out there around the world. Welcome back for all you spiritual prospectors that were just prospecting with me over on the live Facebook video that I just did. Like Kim said, this is Mark Lanehart, the intuitive prospector. And I just want to take a quick second, Kim, to say thank you so much to our inspired listeners for listening to the show, joining us every Wisdom Wednesday, following us on our social media pages. We've been just watching this show grow and grow week over week. It's just getting bigger and better, amazing. It's very humbling to watch this as our inspired community grows. So much gratitude, and just giving a shout out to all the inspired listeners out there. If you would like to work with me on your spiritual journey, your spiritual awakening, get out in nature, or experience a little spiritual awesomeness or spiritual gold for yourself, you can work with me in Seattle, Washington, the Pacific Northwest at marklanehart.com. That's Mark with a C, or just do an internet search for the Intuitive Prospector. And Kim, real quick, I do want to just, because I want to get to these callers and start answering questions as best we can, because this hour goes by so fast. But I wanted to let people know that I've got my first event. I'm doing my first public event in demonstration mediumship and spiritual prospecting, Kim. So I'm doing next Friday is my first event. It's sold out in Spokane, Washington. I've also got a spiritual hike coming up on Saturday, October 29th. So if you're in the Seattle area and you want to get out in nature, we're going to be looking at the colors of fall. And then, Kim, big gulp, I'm doing my first public event in mediumship over on Saturday, November 5th. Out in Arlington, Washington at a Path to Avalon. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Shelly, who is the owner of the shop and has agreed to host me and have me come up and do a public demonstration. So getting ready for that. Lots going on.
Go get them, Mark. Go get them.
If you want to follow us right now, you want to interact with Inspired Living Radio, head on over to our Facebook page. That's Inspired Living Radio. Ask to join. Kim or myself will get you all signed up and ready to go. You can ask your questions there. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Inspired For Us, and that's the number 4. You can also follow us on Google Plus communities under Inspired Living with Mark and Kim. That's all of our social media reach, so we'd love to have you join our community. If you missed this live show, head on over and catch any of the encore shows of Inspired Living on SoundCloud, Podbean, iTunes, YouTube, marklanehart.com, and, of course, OMTimes Radio Archives, where all the on-demand podcasts are sitting right there, just right at your fingertips. And last but not least, Kim, our October Inspired Living Positive Affirmation. And I have been using this all week long. I think it's great, it's simple, and it really is all that I need is within me. All that I need is within me, and that is our positive affirmation for the month of October.
Well, now, and isn't that true, Mark? That's what we both can use even in our work. So as you're stepping into your demonstrations,
Yep.
You just remember that all that you need is within you already.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and how exciting. We've already got callers. I figured we would. We've had this guest on before and practically blown out the phone lines in the past. Everybody wants to hear from their angels. Everybody wants some psychic guidance. You have reminded me, Mark, I do also have an event coming up this Saturday, which I almost forgot. You can find me at the Westlake Village Spiritual Center in Westlake Village, California. I will be working their psychic and spiritual fair there, doing readings all day. And it is just a great day all around. I have so much fun doing these fairs and meeting new people, and I'd love to get to meet you in person. Yeah. So come on by and we'll take a look at what's going on with your life and get to some good answers. If we Well, we've got all kinds of guidance that's ready and available today with our guest. Our guest is Reverend Shamalah-Allah. She is an ordained minister from the Universal Life Church located in Modesto, California. She works as a full-time ministerial counselor, professional psychic, angel medium, medical intuitive, and pet psychic. She is a clairvoyant and an empath. She receives and delivers messages from angelic spirit guides. Everybody loves the angels. And this is effective as it relates to issues involving romance, finances, health, internal, spiritual growth, and family relations. She also specializes in the area of dream interpretation, future forecasting, past life readings, energy healings, karmic readings, karma, medical intuitive readings, animal communication, exorcisms, and house blessings. Currently, Reverend Shamalah-Allah lives in the San Francisco Bay Area and answers questions from people all around the world via phone, email, and Skype. You can reach her at shamalah@gmail.com or at shamalah.com. Her phone number is 650-719-0097. Shamalah, welcome to Inspired Living.
Hey, Shamalah, welcome back. Welcome back.
Hi, everybody. It's nice to be back.
Well, it's good to have you, Shamalah. We always have fun doing these shows where you come on and you give all kinds of great readings and spiritual counseling and messages from the angels. So we are happy to have you back. The phone lines usually blow up with questions when they hear we're dedicating the hour to readings. So welcome back. Shamalah, now in this bio I just read, you do all kinds of things. Talk to us a little bit before we get started on the questions. We're also going to be heading into break in about 4 minutes. So let's just use this time, Shamalah, to talk a little bit about the work that you do.
I'm going to wrap it up in one word. It's love.
Oh.
I mean, all that was read out loud about me is fine, but it usually on a day-to-day working basis for me, it boils down to love. Most people call me and they ask about relationships. And then that's the number one reason. And the second reason is people call about money, love, and money. What's going on?
Money.
They want to know what's going on now, and then they want to know what's going on in the future. However, a lot of the information that is given to people from the spiritual realms, i.e. angels, has to do with the karma, has to do with the lessons. They're spiritual lessons. What are spiritual lessons? Spiritual lessons has to do with situations and circumstances that one must go through to develop the soul. Why is that important? Because when you die, you're still going to be alive and you're going to be left with your soul, and then what? So you might discover a lot of things that you're concerned about are not as important as what, say, your soul is concerned about. So, there can be some overlap and there can be some differences in terms of what kind of information I can give someone, but I can guarantee you it's always very constructive and very healing.
Yeah, because, well, yes, all the work that you do is, of course, centered around healing. Now, why is it important that people know a little bit more than just the psychic answer? Yes, this is going to happen. No, Robbie's not going to call again. Because you get into the spiritual aspects of what's going on too, and how does that help someone?
It helps someone because it gets them out of their personal hell. You know, so to take the example that you use, if someone's going crazy because, Robbie's not calling them back, they're in a certain mental state and they're in a certain spiritual state that represents a sort of hell. And the spirit guides and my psychic vision may or may not necessarily get the information as to when Robbie will call, because that's not really important. What's important might be where you're at and what you're doing on Friday night. And whether Robbie is there or not doesn't matter, but it'd be helpful and wonderful for the person to take other people that are available so they can keep their esteem up, keep their sense of value up, and be open to other opportunities. Not all the doors are always open the way people would like, but the guides, the angels help us go through the open doors so that your time spent here on this earth is constructive and happy and not depressive.
Oh, isn't that the truth? Because how many times do we focus on just the one thing that we want? It's like nothing else exists, just that one person or that one thing, and we kind of spiral in our own minds. That is our lead into our first break. We're going to come back in 2 minutes with our guest, Shamalah-Allah, and we'll be talking about spirituality, taking questions, and all kinds of goodness. So stay with us. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
The future of Internet radio is here. OMTimes Radio, IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Have you been searching for a perspective beyond the mainstream? Check it out. Join your hosts Cielito Pascual and Diana Gold Holland on Share International Radio for thought-provoking views behind the news, Sundays at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio. You can also find us at shareontheairradio.org. This may be the message of hope you've been waiting for.
Are you seeking answers to life questions? Would you like to connect to a departed loved one? Are you suffering from pain, stress, or anxiety? Kimberly Thalkin is a tested, certified, and professional psychic, spiritual medium, energy healer, hypnotherapist, and the founder of Love First, where life transformations happen. Love First services support, guide, and empower individuals by connecting them to their highest potential to live a healthier, joyful, and meaningful life that's filled with purpose. All services can be done by phone, Skype, or in person in Encino, California. Please visit lovefirst.info. That's LOVEFIRST.info for more information.
Every 2 minutes, an American is sexually assaulted. The majority of victims know their attacker. It could be your friend, your neighbor, or someone you met at a party. If you said no, it's rape, and it's a crime. This is Christina Ricci with RAIN. Call the National Sexual Assault Hotline today at 1-800-656-HOPE or visit RAIN.org. That's RAINN.org.
Brought to you by RAIN and this station.
And welcome back to Inspired Living Radio with Mark and Kim and our special guest today, Reverend Shamalah-Allah. We are dedicating this hour to your questions. So call in live and we will bring your questions to air. The number here, 202-570-7057. So Shamalah, before we went to break, we talked about how sometimes we can get caught in our own minds and thoughts on one thing and only one thing, as if that is the only thing that matters, and our guidance tries to help us expand our perspective. Is that correct?
Absolutely, that's correct.
To bring in peace, because so many of us just want peace, and sometimes we do the opposite of that with our own thoughts, and that's why somebody like Reverend Shamalah can help you maneuver your way through those challenging times. Now, Shamalah, we have our first caller that Mark is going to bring live to air. Mark?
Yes, okay. We have Tiva, I think I'm saying the name right, from Atlanta, Georgia, calling in. Welcome to Inspired Living Radio. You have Reverend Shamalah-Allah on the line with you. What's your question?
Hello. Hi, Shamalah.
Hi, how are you, my dear?
Hi, Tiva.
Fine. Hi. So I'm looking for confirmation.
What's your question? Go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead with your question.
Oh, I am looking for confirmation. I have been really just trying to talk to my guides about what I'm going to do with my career. And at the end of the year, it seems that where I'm heading spiritually is to stop working for this company at the end of the year and finish up my degree. And so I'm looking for, like, confirmation of my thoughts.
Oh, okay, around career path. Okay.
Yes.
So when I connect to your spirit guides, they don't want you to worry so much about future career path because there's maybe a mindset or an obsession about future career path. They want you to pay attention to what you're willing to do right now and how do you want to spend your day right now. Sometimes there can be a struggle with the spirit guides and your own mind. Just so you know, and that everybody else is aware out there, the spirit guides can guide you. However, they can only guide you within the parameters of what you're willing to do or what you're willing not to do. They can't go outside of your free will. I do believe they'd like you to go back to school, finish up the degree, stay really grounded on a really strong set career path because there's a tendency for you to kind of change your mind a lot. So they're trying to get you to stick to one thing and finish through to the end and get some money coming in a new company, which would be yourself, your own company, entrepreneurship.
Right. Okay. And you're right, because what I'm thinking about right now, actually, I want to leave my job right now, but that's not possible. So so it's correct. I feel like what you just told me is absolutely correct because I am like seriously like I cannot wait to be done, and so that I can jump back and finish my bachelor's. And so, okay, great. That sounds awesome.
Okay, that sounds good, Tiva. Keep it moving, girl. Keep it moving.
All right, Tiva. Thank you for your question. One day at a time.
You.
Lots of patience. Lots of patience. Okay.
Okay. Take care.
All right, we're going to go on with our next question. This is coming from, I believe we have Katie from Pennsylvania. Katie, are you on the line?
Welcome, Katie.
Hello. Namaste, everybody. Thank you for me.
Namaste. Welcome to Inspired Living Radio. What's your question for Shamalah?
Hello. Thank you for having my question. I know I am on the spiritual path. I'm guided to be a healer. At the moment, I'm being torn at my heartstrings because I've fallen in love, but I'm feeling like it might be taking me off my path. And I was wondering what you feel from him for me.
From him. Okay.
Like, are we supposed to be together to go on this endeavor together as healers, or am I to be solo?
Oh, okay. I don't get any information about him. actually.
Oh.
Let me see.
That's kind of how I feel when I try.
Oh, interesting. Because it's not about him. It's about you. And deciding for yourself what gives you the most amount of peace. Now, I don't know if you realize this or not, but what it shows me is that when it comes to relationships with men, you may give them too much of your time and too much of the priority, okay? And that's what gets your brain all split and messed up. And because you're supposed to serve the world, you're not supposed to serve any one man. You're supposed to serve the world. The priorities inside of your head is mixed up. So, you know, you may be a healer, but at the end of the day to day, your priority is more toward him and what does he want. And so what you're doing is what I like to call is man worshiping. And that's incorrect. So you need to focus on your healing goals and do that 100%. And then when it comes to this guy, whoever he is, he's like maybe fifth on the priority list. That has to do with your position in the world. And if you make him fifth on the priority list, you may feel your aura, your energies come into balance. You're going to be in alignment with your soul. And so you'll also attract the correct type of love and not something that you feel you're obsessed over that's against your will, okay? I hope that's helpful to you, Katie.
Absolutely, and especially saying the fifth, because I go to the fifth dimension with that, where it's everything is love, and I just need to be in that universal love place. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's your position. Yeah, that's your karma, that's your position, and so if you keep it in the correct priority, you won't get lost. And I know for a lot of women, these Hollywood stories and movies and things kind of get us mixed up as to what's important. So, but thank you so much, Katie, for your call. I really appreciate it. That's a great question.
Oh, I appreciate you all. Thank you guys so much. Blessings.
Thank you. Yes, so Shamalah, we do that sometimes, huh? I think women are probably a little bit more prone to doing that than men, but sometimes...
And men don't like it. Men don't like it. Why? Because they feel overburdened and pressured, because then the men feel like they're all of a sudden responsible for your entire life, and they don't want that, and that's why they push women away who act like, obsessive. So, everyone who's listening to this, if you're having trouble with men and you feel like you're in the doghouse with men, you got to check with yourself, get your priorities intact, and then the men will probably feel like a sense of relief, like, oh, phew, I'm not responsible for this person, like this person's my child or something like that. And then I think things might go a bit better,
Now, Shamalah, sometimes, we think about someone, right, whether it's a man or a woman, someone we're interested in, and we think about them. Can they feel that energetically?
Yes, they can. They can feel it energetically. It doesn't mean it's correct to have that all the time. But yeah, you can feel it energetically. But if it's happening too much and it's draining the energy, you're feeling tired, or it feels like it's haunting you or it's overwhelming, then we have to go within. All that you need is within you. It's part of the motto for today. You have to go within yourself and work with your brain to rearrange the priorities, and then you'll get a sense of relief. It may take like 50 times. You might see some work you got to put into it, but it works. It's not a magical one-time thing. You got to put some elbow grease into it.
Right. And what's the best way to do that? Because, people need their own tools that they can use on themselves to correct whatever it is within them that needs to be corrected. What's the best way to do that? If somebody finds that they're just spending way too much time thinking about someone and it's disruptive to their lives, but they don't know how to redirect their focus, what's the best way to do that?
Imagine a bright, brilliant purple light for a couple of seconds, and that's going to interrupt the thought inside the brain, and it's going to retrain the brain to focus on the spiritual aspects within yourself that are important, and it'll get things back into alignment. And every time you find yourself trapped into that hellish twilight zone, repeat obsessive thinking, you imagine bright purple light.
Oh, I like it. Just as you were saying that, I could see the brilliance of it. Okay. All right, we have another caller on the line. Jamie from Wisconsin is on. Jamie, welcome to Inspired Living. And what is your question today for Shamalah?
Hi. I had a question about a couple of dreams lately. Is that okay?
Go ahead. Tell me what.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
Well, the one I had last night, and I think I discovered I was, I was in like twilight sleep, coming awake, and I realized I've been having it frequently, so it's a recurrent dream. I'm in in one of those cars that's on a wire, like in a mountainous region or mountains with gorges where you're traveling for sightseeing from one area to another, in these little cars on wires. Just night after night, it seems to be a theme.
Oh, okay, and that's the dream?
Yeah, there isn't
really,
there hasn't been any culmination. There hasn't been anything specific. It seems relatively peaceful. It just seems like a happy existence, sightseeing. I don't really know.
Your soul is expanding.
Oh, very good.
Your soul is expanding. In the past, it might have seemed like a lot of events around you were negative or bad luck or not to your liking. As your soul is expanding, you're going to be attracting more happy things, more happy events, more happy people, more happy situations. So as that's occurring, have faith that it's real. It's not going to drop and turn into something negative. You can accept the good things that are coming into your life, and it's going to continue as your soul expands, and that's for the rest of your life. So you don't have to think in the bad habit as it was in the past.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. So the other dream I had a couple weeks back, I probably don't even need to mention because it was kind of scary and negative. So maybe
now,
that was.
I'm gonna say here, Jamie, we have time for one dream. Now, what I'd like to know is there validation on that? Does that make sense when your soul's expanding?
Well, I love it, and I'm actively involved in doing work. I guess a spiritual consultant that I saw suggested extreme self-care, and I was kind of already on that path, but it helps me give myself permission to kind of work on unconditional love for myself, which is expanding my life, my relationships, everything into a lot more joy, and it's beautifying everything.
Exactly.
Colors are brighter, everything. So
exactly, that's all that good stuff inside of you. You got to stay on that point. Don't leave it.
Awesome.
Okay, you stay right there on that point.
And the things you said, I needed specifically, like it's not going to drop, it's not going to turn negative. I need that.
Jamie, thank you so much for your call. That is our lead into our second break. And we hope you found that helpful. Thank you so much for being with us. Well, stay with us. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Sounds good.
The cutting edge of conscious radio. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Have you wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Eros Evolution is where sexuality and spirituality meets. Join me, clinical sexologist Martha Tara Lee, on Eros Evolution on Thursdays, 4 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio.
One planet, 7.3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Mark Lanehart, the intuitive prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Mark's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream. Dare to explore. Dare to live. For more information on Mark's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marklanehart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. I mean, okay, something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
And welcome back to Inspired Living with Mark and Kim, and our special guest here today with us, Reverend Shamalah-Allah. We are dedicating this hour to your questions. Shamalah, we do have a couple of people on the line. Before we go there, I do want to hear real quickly, what do the angels have to say is one of the biggest challenges we face today, or one of the biggest things they're working with us on?
Depression.
Oh.
There's lots of depression. It has to do with the lack of proper sleep and good nutrition, actually. And also, a lot of the spirit guides and angels are having difficulty connecting to people on an everyday basis. Usually they connect to people during the sleep, so that when they're awake during the day, the person can get better in touch with their intuition and feel grounded and feel like they know what they're doing. But because the sleep is disrupted, the pace of life is too fast and too noisy, the angels are having trouble connecting to people during the sleep. So that's a real problem, and so then that leads to depression, and people get disconnected from their own internal thought, the sense of connection to divine source of life force, energy, and love. They get lost. They end up on medications and all kinds of things that are probably not necessary. Mm-hmm. So one of the biggest things that the angels are working with is to eradicate the depression. And I'm here as a messenger to let people know that if you're suffering from difficult depression, you may want, I'm not a doctor, but you want to consider, you check your proper sleep, check your nutrition, which is your fruits and vegetables, raw fruits and vegetables that have the life force energy in it, already perfectly packaged, complements of Goddess. And you check your sleep, your nutrition, and then you'll probably see a lot of the depression symptoms go away. Take things day at a time. Don't focus too much on future. You want to plan and have goals, but don't be obsessed with future. And that takes some work for the brain. You got to remold the brain there and put some effort into it. But the payoff would last a lifetime.
And what a great payoff that is, huh? To live a life of happiness. Okay. Mm. All right, great information on that. So, Shamalah, we do have a caller now that Mark is going to bring live to air. Mark?
Yeah, so we have Tiana from the Bluegrass State of Kentucky. Tiana, You're on with Inspired Living Radio. Welcome.
Hi, good afternoon. Namaste to everyone. My question is, I have been experiencing some health problem and, like he said, to some depression because I feel like I'm stuck and very much disconnected. And I feel that as though being very frustrated with the health condition, but I feel like I'm being somehow guided to become a healer of some kind of sort. And I just have a feeling of it being a healer of energy of some kind, but I'm confused as to like what modality or which specific area. So I'm at loss right now. So if I can just have some guidance with my angels to see where I'm supposed to go.
Yeah, let me take a look, Tiana. Just one moment. You need to work on healing yourself. Okay, before healing others. There's a habit in your head that you like to skip to the next chapter of your own book before you're living within the current chapter. Okay? Your mind jumps too much ahead of yourself from where you're at, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. So we have to stop that. All right?
Okay.
Imagine the purple light. Just for a few seconds, imagine the purple light. I want everybody to imagine the purple light. 2 seconds. 1, 2. Light is there. Now it's gone. Bring yourself back into alignment, which is right now. Heal yourself first. Okay? Get the proper sleep. You must continue your education, actually. You have to continue your education. Now, I don't know what kind of education this is, but what I'm being shown is you must continue the education or else you're not going to feel stable. You're not going to feel confident. And until that's completed, then the frustration will go away. Okay? You're supposed to finish some other step around education before moving forward in your life. Does that make sense to you, Tiana?
Oh, my God. That just gives me chills because I've been torn because I'm supposed to finish my nurse practitioner in 2009, but I don't believe in conventional practice.
Listen to me, Tiana. I'm going to cut you off. Listen to me. I'm cutting you off because we need to stay on point. A nurse practitioner is a healer, right? Right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you got to finish that. That's your soul calling. You need to do that. Or you do your education around that medical field. Now, if you don't finish that, you're not going to feel right. Now, that's why you feel frustrated and upset and angry. So that's what I have to say. That's your message, Tiana. And you better not let go of it, I'm telling you, because you can easily get distracted, okay, and daydreaming about things.
Well, actually, I'm torn because I'm holistic, so I feel like I need to either get into herbalist or some kind of a natural path, sort of rather than a nurse practitioner.
No. You're supposed to finish your education. There's all kinds of healers on all different levels. We have spiritual healers. We have, physical healers. There's so many different healers. We need them all. Okay? So just consider that message. That's spiritual guidance, your angels. Just think about that. And if you think about it, you might feel a little bit more relaxed and more at peace with yourself. Going back to school, it comes up very strongly for you. And I don't want you to diminish the kind of healer that you're supposed to become. A spiritual healer is no better than a nurse practitioner. We're all the same. I need to go to my nurse practitioner. I'd rather be a nurse practitioner than a doctor. I know a lot of people.
You and me both, Shamalah.
Tiana, thank you for your call today, and hope that helps you on your path move forward. It looks like that message really resonated, so thank you for that call.
Thank you so much. And what I want to say is sometimes I'll talk a little strongly with people is because if they start going into a direction that's making them go into a quagmire of craziness and hell, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to interrupt them. I don't want to go with them psychically. It's horrible. So I interrupt it so we can stay in the light, if you know what I mean.
Well, I appreciate that. Stay on point, and I like that. It's about living authentic, living presently, trusting what you're getting, believing in yourself. So I totally agree with that.
Oh, yeah, Mark. Right on.
Right.
All right. So let's, Tiana, thank you so much for your call. Love it. Love the questions. Keep them coming. We've got another caller in the queue. Next up for Shamalah, we have Emma from Pennsylvania. Welcome to Inspired Living Radio, Emma.
Welcome.
Hello. Hi. Okay. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
How can we help you today?
Yes. No, I just had a question. It was just a little confusion. I was wondering why, I'm not really finding a job. It's kind of effort because I've done a lot of medical field, and it's just not happening. A lot of weird things happen that's kind of preventing that from happening. And I'm just not sure why.
Oh, okay, so you're trying to find a job, Emma, within the medical field, huh? And it's not happening, doesn't seem to be happening.
Right, but it's I've always worked in the medical field, and it's even when I apply for jobs, it's little weird things will happen. Either the phone will be unplugged, but it's not by my doing or anybody else's doing, or the line will just start acting funny. And is there something else I should be doing currently? Why that's not happening? Basically.
Okay, let me take a look, Emma. Just one moment, please. Okay, so where my vision is taking me is actually to your resume. Okay.
Okay.
I wouldn't look in the direction of, say, funny things are happening and the lines are getting disrupted or, weird things like that. I wouldn't go into an energetic reason around it. What it shows me is that your resume needs to be redone and reformatted.
Okay.
So you need to look at that or have someone else look at that to make sure your resume is current, up to date, and also that it looks very simple. I think the resume you might have might be a little too complicated. There's too much stuff on there, or there's some things on there that are not needed, and it needs to be, just cleaned up a bit so it's easier on the eyes to read. And also, too, with you, Emma, there is a tendency for your brain to think too much outside of yourself, which means you're preoccupied with other people all the time. And that mindset might be bleeding into your job search and kind of making things all ruffled up. So what you want to do is you want to spend time to just think about yourself, okay, make yourself a priority. And as a person who's very giving, you're probably thinking it's better to serve others more so than yourself. But okay, that's fine. That's part of what you do. But if things are all disjointed around you, you probably are serving others or thinking about others too much, which is putting everything out of balance. So number one, get your resume cleaned up, feng shui, take all the unnecessary stuff out so it's nice and clean and clear. Okay, take old stuff out that's not supposed to be there. There's probably some typos actually in there you want to get rid of. Some typos and some editing you got to do, if that makes sense. Okay, and then make sure your mindset is about yourself more so than others to get things balanced out, and continue on your job search, and it'll probably be a lot easier for you. I hope that makes sense.
It does. It does. Thank you very much.
Well, right on, Emma. Right on, you go. Shoot.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you for the call, and wishing you all the very best on your path and your next step in your career. So Shamalah, you see, that's very interesting. Oh, goodness gracious. That's our last lead into our break.
Turn that whistler off.
I know. We still have more to talk about. Okay, stay with us for the next 2 minutes. We'll be back answering your questions.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization. Their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Dr. Kevin here, and I want to invite you every Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, to join me on the Dr. Kevin Show, where we have a diversity of guests who help you step outside the box, behind the curtain, and see what a load of crap is going on in the world today, so you have more information with which to make better decisions. We'll see you there. Namaste.
There is no death, only a change of worlds. Chief Seattle. Deborah Livingston is an award-winning intuitive psychic medium whose international services include mediumship, spiritual assessment, animal communication, and spiritual mentoring. She is a published author and a trained shaman. Deborah provides evidential messages from spirit and departed loved ones. Learn more at deblivemedium.com. That's DEBLIV medium.com.
What's up? This is Brad and Mike from Lincoln Park for LifeBeat, the music industry fights AIDS. Listen up, times are tough and you get a lot of things thrown your way. If you're being pressured to have sex and you're not ready, then say no. If you're having sex, be smart and use protection. Respect yourself and protect yourself.
For more information, call the National AIDS Hotline at 1-800-342-AIDS or log on to www.lifebeat.org.
welcome back to Inspired Living with Mark and Kim and our special guest today, Reverend Shamalah-Allah, as we dedicate this hour to you. So, Shamalah, just in the last few callers, I can see where one of the things that you really help support people with is getting them to stay on track. Because as in the last caller, helping her focus on her resume, not giving too much of herself, and not focusing on some of the other extra things around her that she thought might be contributing to problems or challenges in the job search, and getting people to refocus their attention so that they can actually get to their desired outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be really hard. There's a lot of distractions around us. And also there's just a lack of education about our spiritual selves. And so, I mean, that's why we're all here. You know, you, Kim, and Mark, and myself, we're all spiritual healers and teachers. And what we do is very much needed by people to educate them and help them refocus and see what's important, so that this scattered energy within themselves doesn't bleed out around them and start being so chaotic and crazy, you know. So, you know, I'm happy to do that. It's my life's purpose. I love it.
Yeah, because I tell you what, life just it can really create that chaos, like you said, or we create that within ourselves, having our thoughts and our emotions just all over the place. We do. I did have another question come through here from a John in Los Angeles, who said that he had applied for a job here with his company in LA. He thought he was very suited for it, and he should have been promoted given that job, and he wasn't. Instead, they have considered him for another opportunity, and he just would like some understanding around that.
Okay. So without knowing the actual opportunity or the title or anything that he's going for or that he went for, let me see what comes through. Just one moment. For John in LA, felt he should have received an opportunity but didn't. Let me see what comes through. Okay, so for some reason the actual job that he was going for, it comes through that he would not have liked it, or he would not have wanted that kind of responsibility. For now, he's supposed to rest and not take on so much work responsibility at this time. And the reason is because in his past around work, he's been go, 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 nonstop, and has kind of pushed a little bit too fast, too long, and he needs a little bit of a break before he's supposed to get promoted again or rise or move forward. So it shows me his physical body needs a rest, his soul needs a rest, and again, it's from his past, you know, pushing for so long, and he needs a bit of a break before moving up and ahead and forward. So that's what I see. And then whatever that job is, he wouldn't have liked the responsibilities around it anyway. So whatever these other, you know, opportunities are for him, he can consider it very carefully, but he has to look at the level of responsibility around it.
Ah, very good. You see, sometimes we get our mind set on that's the only option for us. That's where our heart is. But yet things work out as they're supposed to in support of us in terms of what it is we need in our lives, right? Where we are on our path.
It can be kind of tricky. I mean, what I try to explain to people is there's a difference between what we want and how we feel, or what we think we want versus where we're at. So, I mean, sometimes we can want something within our brains, but if we think about how we feel emotionally and sense out, you know, where we're at, you know, it might be a different answer or a different feeling or a different perspective. And so when we're talking about spirituality, we're talking about feeling out where you're at really within your body and within your heart and within your stomach, as opposed to thinking about things within your brain. There's a difference there, and sometimes it can be hard to discern it. But when I talk to people and I said, okay, let's not think about what you think you want. Let's try to feel out, where you're at. That's the real answer.
Yes, very practical and actually better for us, right? Better for us.
Down. Yeah, we have to slow ourselves down, and usually when things don't work out the way we want them to, at the end of the day, it is for the best. We just don't know it.
I agree. I've looked at all the situations in my life where I had my heart set on that one person or that one job, and I look back at it and I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. It all makes sense now why that didn't happen, and everything works out for the best. So, Shamalah, one of the things that I know that you are big on is helping connect people to their guidance and advocating for the importance of meditation and prayer. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah. That's one of the main messages I get from the spiritual guidance when I talk to clients or when I do a radio show. That's the one thing that comes in. And it doesn't have to be a large amount of time, but just spending at least a few minutes in silence. I like to say 10 minutes, but even a few minutes can be very helpful wherever you're at, just sitting and just being with yourself in silence. Sometimes people don't know where they can find silence, really. It's so noisy in this world. So I always say, go into your car, go into your parked car and just sit there in silence. Go into the bathroom and close the door and be in silence a few minutes. And one important tip is a lot of people think that they have to be silent within their brain, within their mind, they have to be silent. That's not true. I don't care what the Buddhists say. I don't care. I mean, shoot, I'm sure Jesus sat in silence. We don't know if his brain was silent.
Right.
Probably silent around him. So what I'm saying is spiritual guides need silence around us. And whether the brain is silent doesn't matter. Most likely in time, though, your brain will quiet down. But it takes a bit. It doesn't happen magically. It doesn't happen instantly. And I think people have a misconception about that. So just give yourself, your spirit guides and angels, or, even if you're questioning whether the spirit guides and angels are even around you, just be within yourself. All that you need is within you. Okay? All that I need is within me. Why is that motto important? Because even if you don't really understand the spirit guides and the angels, because they're all invisible anyway, right? You're alive, and you have you, because no matter where you go, there you are. You can't get anywhere too quickly. You're just with yourself, and no matter where you go, there you are. You see what I'm saying? So you're trapped within yourself. So if you stay within yourself and be quiet, that's how you're going to connect to the highest part of yourself, however you want to define that. And that automatically puts you in tune with the higher guidance. But even if you don't want to do that, because some people don't or they question it, just tune into yourself, because we're all part of that same life force energy. Doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you're quiet. And when you're quiet, that's when the answers start bubbling up.
Ever.
They're popping in, right, Mark? Right, Kim?
They do.
It's strange like that.
And I was just going to say, Shamalah, I totally agree that just getting into a place that doesn't have the distractions, whether it's nature, the bathroom, that doesn't mean the mind's going to shut off, but just look at what your thoughts are, where your thoughts are taking you. And for our inspired listeners out there, take a look at transcendental meditation. It's a process of just sitting with yourself and understanding what your path is.
Oh, that's excellent. There's a nice name to it, Transcendental Meditation. There you go, Mark.
Yep.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's a good name. I'm going to use that one next time.
Now, what about prayer, Shamalah? Like, how can we work with prayer to help us? And what do you say to people who say, well, what I want, I feel guilty because there's so many other people out there that could use, that don't have food or shelter. And what my little old want is, that's not important.
Well, that's fine. If they don't think it's important and they don't want to pray about it, they don't have to. That's fine. And they can sit there and be that way. That's okay. They can just be quiet and be thoughtful and just think about nothing or think about whatever they're thinking, as long as they're quiet. So a lot of people don't know how to pray. Prayer is a big topic, and if a person doesn't know how to pray correctly, Goddess and the angels, they ain't going to hear nothing. They only hear things within faith and love. So if a person's fearful or they think they're not deserving, Goddess will allow it. It's called free will. So that's okay. That's what I say to that. But for people who do want things, they can pray for it, they can ask for it, but they have to be in silence first, and then they'll get the inspiration to know what to ask for after they've sat in silence for a few minutes. That's what I suggest.
Mm-hmm. So the two work hand in hand together.
Absolutely, yes.
All right, excellent. And we are wrapping up the show here. As I knew it, the hour would fly by. I want to give a special thank you to our guest, Shamalah-Allah.
Thank
we
you,
want to
Shamalah.
encourage you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Great.
Next Wednesday, October 19th, for our guest, Mastin Kipp, author, entrepreneur, and motivational speaker.
Big show.
Beautiful week, everyone. Thank you for being with us, and thank you to Shamalah for all of your wisdom and guidance today.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.